Hello everyone, and welcome to my Coronation Street official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. After Paul's passing, Billy is given hope by Peter Ash. In the past year, viewers have witnessed Paul's motor neuron disease diagnosis, the impact it has had on him and his family, and in some incredibly heartbreaking sequences, Paul's dying breaths, which were missed by his spouse Billy Mayhew. In the tragic episode, Billy was searching for his misplaced phone, which contained all of his memories of Paul. However, Paul was having breathing difficulties, and Bernie, Kit, and Summer were frantically trying to help Paul, but they were unable to get in touch with Billy. They finally got through to Billy over the phone after what felt like an eternity of trying, just before Paul drew his final, deep breath and they understood he was dead. Although he is no longer on the soap opera, Peter Ash expressed some kind words for Billy as he works through the sadness of losing his spouse. Ash's depiction of Paul won him the National Television Award for Serial Drama Performance. Although Ash acknowledged that Billy can be a bit of a wallower in an exclusive interview with RadioTimes.com, he expressed optimism that Billy will be able to pick himself up and get back up on the horse. Naturally, Billy won't be by himself because Paul's sister Gemma and mother Bernie will be there to help him when he needs it. It was suggested by Ash in a recent interview with RadioTimes.com that there might be friction between Bernie and Billy. He clarified, they love each other but naturally clash because they are very different. Paul maintained order, but things may go worse if he weren't there. Billy now has to deal with Bernie, Gemma, and the Quads in addition to Paul's family. He accepted the vows. In Paul's story, Jane Hazelgrove confronts Bernie's major deception. Star of Coronation Street Jane Hazelgrove talked about Bernie Winter's momentous choice in the Paul Foreman death episode. This week, Bernie tricked her son-in-law Billy Mayhew into thinking he'd had a farewell phone conversation with Paul. The motor neuron disease plot on Coronation Street came to a conclusion on Monday's episode when Bernie's cherished son Paul was taken to the hospital after having trouble breathing. Though Billy arrived too late to spend any final moments with his spouse, Paul was surrounded by the majority of his closest family, and the doctors verified that there was nothing more they could do for him. Instead, Bernie gave Billy the impression that Paul was still alive by having him hear some farewell remarks over the phone because he wanted Billy to have closure. When Jane initially discussed the plot twist, she said, "Bernie did it for the right reasons." Upon reading that, I found myself wondering, what's that about? I was a little worried that everyone would ask, what the hell is she playing at, when we returned. However, I believe it was all done in the heat of the moment to keep Billy and Paul safe. It soon becomes clear that Bernie will not be able to maintain the secret. That whole grieving thing where you never know what's going to happen. She tells Todd about it. She doesn't mean to do it, but anyway it comes out. If she had the option, I believe she would have carried that to her grave. However, her grief becomes too great, and she actually becomes a little cruel. Bernie and Billy will argue in upcoming episodes when they learn they have completely different ideas for Paul's burial. Billy begins to organize a customary farewell, but Bernie prefers something more fitting for her son's character. Jane went on. Billy is a man of God, as we all know. Apart from spirituality and the core of life, whatever that may be, Bernie isn't really a lady of anything. Regarding how they will commemorate and honor Paul, Bernie and Billy are going to get into a heated argument. With Bernie's unique ideas, it should be an intriguing ride. Bernie isn't too fond of the funeral arrangements. Even though Paul received a lot of comfort from Billy's baptism, she doesn't truly believe that Paul was a man of God. She basically organizes a rave in his honor, and she involves everyone. We shot this massive rave over the course of 2 nights, and it was a really good release. We were all quite tired. Bernie also has a plan on what to do with the ashes. It isn't particularly traditional. Toya Battersby decides what her future with Nick will entail. After it was revealed that she and Nick had an affair on Coronation Street, Toya Battersby made a significant life decision. Leanne learned earlier this week that Rowan, the boss of the Institute, had been keeping a covert file on Nick and Toya ever since one of his goons photographed them sharing a kiss a few months prior. Nick's declaration of love for Toya prompted Leanne to lash out, striking her sister and telling her to keep away. On Friday's episode, Leanne was determined to make her sister and her unfaithful lover look bad. She called Nick over to the bistro, where she had covered one wall with a big dust sheet. Nick was shocked to see thousands of pictures of him kissing Toya when Leanne lifted the covers. Those guests who were taken aback by the close-up shots of Nick and Toya's encounter included Rita Tanner and Brian Packham. Embarrassed, Nick hurriedly ushered every patron out of the eatery. Not to be petty, David Platt, who was also present, advised Leanne and Nick, "Stuff happens, but it's how you deal with it that matters." Leanne terminated Toya from the bistro and gave her the order to leave, despite Toya's pleas for her sister to allow her to clarify herself. Nick found out later that Leanne had changed the locks on their flat. Nick offered to let her keep their house and accepted full responsibility for his affair during a violent argument. In the end, the two decided that they had to inform Sam of their separation. Leanne was even more hurt when Nick admitted to the boy that he had fallen in love with Toya and that they were together. Sam could stay with Leanne until they found a permanent place to reside, Nick assured Sam. Though she wasn't sure how it would all work out, Leanne hurried to give Sam a hug. Toya was still inconsolable at her sister's breakup, so she made the decision that it would be better for her to move out of Weatherfield. Leanne told her sister, "I hate your guts, but you're going nowhere," stopping her from moving out. "I ask that you not do so." When Toya told Nick she was hesitant to meet up with him on the cobbles, Nick couldn't believe it. "I apologize, but I can't do this. I'm incapable of doing any of it," Toya urged. Toya acknowledged her love for Nick, but she was adamant, saying, "I can't do this to Leanne. I love her more. I apologize." As Toya turned to go, she ruled out a connection with Nick, leaving him devastated. The character was given a motor neuron disease diagnosis last year. While he got ready for his last days, his health grew worse. In Monday's episode, Billy, Paul's grieving spouse, was horrified when he couldn't see his partner in his last moments and was hurried to the hospital as Paul's health worsened. After the touching episode, Ash, who had worked on the ITV soap opera for 6 years, thanked viewers in a post on the official social media pages of the program. "Hi to all of you. This is Peter Ash," he said in the video that was posted to X and Twitter. "I have so reached the end of my tenure on Corey. I would want to express my gratitude to every one of you for your support over the years and with the narratives I have completed. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much to all of our fans. Without you, we would not exist. I've had an incredible experience filming Corey. Although I'm going to miss everyone, I'm looking forward to what lies ahead for me. I sincerely thank each and every one of you for watching." Many fans responded positively to the article, with one writing, "Peter Ash, take a bow. You deserve all the awards because you have been incredible throughout this storyline and portraying Paul, such an unforgettable character. I want to thank Peter for his incredible performance. You have brought attention to the